started, I just wanted to share a couple announcements about things that are upcoming and ways that we can weave. And thank you for your presence, because these seasonal calls and these prayers that we share are such food for our own spirits. And we're so grateful when you show up and you circle with us in whatever ways we even just tune in, especially now. I hope that every seasonal shift throughout time, humans said that, but wow, I think it's really meaningful now to just come together and tune in. And so thank you for being here. And we will get into our call soon, but I just wanted to share and invite, because we've been working on a new website and there's so many beautiful changes and things that we're going to keep feeding through that space. And I just want to invite you to come and check it out and stay connected with us online in the ways that we're really intended to just be pouring our spirit through in that way. So we have some upcoming circles and ceremonial spaces that are offered, and one is coming up in July very soon in Santa Ynez, and that's a ceremonial retreat, and we'll be doing a community Mayan fire after that. And so even if you can't make it to the retreat but can join us for the fire, it's a beautiful time to come together. And we'll be doing some online classes too this summer on walking with the medicines and really integrating that space of reverence and transformation through our plant spirit teachers. And I just invite you to stay connected there. If you're not on Facebook, that's okay, but that's a great place where we do have regular contact. But I just love seeing this circle grow and invite you to really extend and share, even if it's the recording of this. So welcome to each one of you and those of us who might be tuning in through time and space through the recording. And before we actually start, I just want to, I saw some more people jump in. If you want to say hello, please unmute yourself and say hello. Let us know where you're calling from. And Eric, thank you so much for this space that you share and hold for all of us. And when you're ready to, when folks have said hello and you're ready, please take that stick, Tata. Adios.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, want to say greetings to you, my relatives, and it's so beautiful to see you. And we get a thumbs up for everybody. Hear me? Good. Okay. So wow. I mean, wow, 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 right? And some of us, you know, has been dedicating our lives to this spiritual connection and sharing the memories or the echoes of our peoples. Beautiful elders who have been like this forever, I guess. And some pay attention, some dedicated themselves to carry what we call the sacred bundles, and others carry the staffs of the people. You know, the wellness. You know, the responsibility to connect the spiritual and the physical, because others are so busy, you know, growing food, and architects and engineers and all the things that each and one of us do in our lives. And it's not for everybody to, you know, go through those we call the rites of passage, those strong ceremonies. But for those who come and go through the rites to pass, there's a story that we kind of jump on the wagon. We follow elders or others who are like, they're so inspirational. And then you get to see and hear their story. It's like, wow, And it's not all easy, but it's full of beauty and rediscovery of our utmost of our human potentials to the spirit again. And some of those they come back and they share the knowledge. They become the what we call the Kamal Bays, the ones who show the way. Hey, I found a way through this labyrinth, and up here there's a nice spring, or there's food, or here's the spirit's really strong. So they guide us to those places. And some of us, as you know, many of you use your story that you got there young enough to, maybe not so contaminated by this world that you went through, and you prayed and you strong and you held the ceremony. Now some of you carry those bundles, carry the ishtut, the sacred chanupa, carry a drum, carry a sage, carry a little bit of tobacco, and all is to talk and discuss with the spirits the wellness of the human family and of the world. Some medicine, Kamal Bays, they take care even more. Our people call them chichka house, mother fathers of the people. No longer they're just human. They're not just a man or a woman, but they become both. The chichka house, they said, mother, father, caretakers of that which is sacred. And so it takes a lot of beauty, lot of dedication to go and do this. And so it becomes simple. Like today, we some things are happening here with us, that the ancestors of the land are showing us their grinding stones. We found three last time we were hiking around, two by springs and one by at the edge of cliffs that we knew about, but we showed them, and they're coming out. They're showing themselves. And so now we put them up by the oak tree. That some of you been in ceremony there. It starts to the council. Maybe they're telling us something about the solidness of the stone people, of the ancient ways, of what we need to do again to relearn our relationship to life. So I wanted to show you this. We just got this made in Guatemala. Oops, upside down. Some of you recognize it. Ish kanil. Ach kanil as a staff is the medicine wheel, is to make things in order. This one is like I'm gonna put upside down so we'll show you the little in the middle. It has the shape of a star and the four directions. Sometimes they're more closer and very little, like a straight cross. But this one, we made it so that it is a star. It's because there's much more relationship through the medicines now we see with the star nation. We heard about the Pope High, the councils of the human, and they said a prophecy for past 26 years, past the 13 Baktun, the 2012 big thing. 26 years, it will be up to us to decide the fate of this world. So how many years we've used already? So we made some of these tasks. For some people will be, all goes well, gathering the nations. Today is Juncanil, and we share the story that it will take a lot to get through the Oshlachuch Kirch. Lots of purifications and learnings and transformations and all the things that come about. Can you pass? Can we pass to the next level, the next consciousness, to carry the seeds of hope or carry the seeds to the future? And we see a lot of our children is like, how are we gonna hold them? How do we go? What do we have to do for them? And the time is ticking. And we see many things are really nice, preparing for a good transition, you know. And so in Juncanil, we want to plant the seeds today to, again, like we heard the echoes of many times. Our people need to gather, they need to unify. And we've been at it for a lot of years and we carry on what others were talking about. And some of those things were done really beautifully. Our nations gathered, they met each other, they saw what was left, and they say, there's a lot of beauty here. But now we gotta go to the earth people, all the humans, all the humanity. And so that's what we've done. That's what we were doing. That's what we're doing today. Gathering our peoples. And as we see, little grains of the what's left of the big corn. The big nations, maybe one or two kernels will grow a tree, will become a ishim, we call it, the corn, And so as we gather this and we go through the ceremonies this summer, it is to activate stronger our spiritual connection. What is it that we can't just let it go anymore? We, the action is today, now. It's about receiving and learning, but also to manifest, to crystallize it. So in the Juncanil, today we gather the stones from Pomo, from down in Lake County, from other Pomo from the Napa Valley. These are grinding stones. The Maidu grinding stones and the Shasta Maidu grinding stones. And so, and then three more that are still on the land by the springs. So there's a whole bunch of them. And in Guatemala, I took pictures. I'll share them. I'll send them to you. We have over 100 of them, of the Cachiquel, the Sutujil, the Quiche, others who live there, and it's like the old ancient work to grind the corn, grind the cacao seeds. And the ceremony, it's time for ceremony, they say, to make the efforts to secure your seeds, secure your food, and then the ancient ones are singing their songs again through the effort. If you ever hear grinding, it's very nice. A lot of some people say, my sister, when she does the seeds, it becomes more crunchy, more solid. But when I do it, it becomes really powdery. Why? Because not all two grinding ones will be the same. Just like us, not two will bring the same seeds. But to say that at this time to gather the bundles of the people, not just from one nation or another. And we see a lot of our elders, have done that. They did that. They gather up, they smoke the pipe, sunrise ceremonies, fire. The nations come together. Others dance through the night. Others are walking through the mountains and ask the spirit of Mother Earth, show us, guide us, because we start to feel there's something is gonna go beyond our control, and so as we go through, and here is the pictures of today, the grinding stones of the pomo gifted by us to us by relatives from down Clear Lake, another gift from the Napa Valley, other gifts from here, the Shasta and Maidu, and so the people is gathering, and so and we are here to we put the cornmeal from the Maya. We brought cornmeal of the four colors, and the four colors is the red corn people represents our blood. The yellow corn people, it represents our muscles and our skin. The black corn people represents the water, and the white corn people represents the bones and the structure. So we need the blue corn. We were gifted blue corn this year. All goes well, maybe we'll grow it so that we'll invite the blue corn nation to gather at that pop height as they manifest themselves before. And so, and yesterday we smoked our pipes. We prayed at the lodge where the blue corn people live. and nice, quiet, very simple, but very beautiful. With family, taking care of those altars. And so all of us is that's what they says. Go to your altars and plant the seeds of what you see in your visions that you want to harvest. I share stories today because when we gather those elders, we share how some of our elders cross. And so one I share my teacher Tlacaele from Mexico, Tenochtitlan. And early on, he was sharing about how
All right. It looks like we're having some technical difficulties. I don't know if people can hear me. Yeah, okay. Well, go with spirit. This is how Glakayale is being with us today. uh, let's see. Eric will be back soon. Do you know what happened, Hetty? That's okay.
No. Oh.
That's okay. So we'll figure it out. Maybe Eric will join inside so he can continue, or we'll figure out how that flows. But he was sharing about Glakayele, and it's interesting because this morning I was in my garden meditating on this day of Hunkanyel, this vibration of one, one being not just one, but the promise of a seed. So that infinite multiplicity of one, really clear process of gestation that can bring the potential of 144,000 more seeds, and just that infinity, the infinity of potential in this vibration. And Keneal, this pairing with the seeds and the medicine wheel and all of life. And I was just in a prayer in my garden, and there so persistently were these little tobacco seeds. And I don't know how many of you have grown tobacco, but when I try to grow it, it's really humbles me sometimes. But when I have been gifted medicine, and it's just lived in my garden, it seems to persist. And there's this one little patch that is plants from a plant from seeds from Klakayele. And I just love that energy came in today, and I wanted to share that this day is a time of blessing our seeds, and doesn't always align the Gregorian calendar with summer solstice. This is just a beautiful alignment of coming into this space now where, at least for us here in the north, we feel summer. Well, most of us, I know summer's still arriving for some of us. But it's a time of blessing our seeds and really just grounding into that potential, into that promise, into the persistence of life. And yeah, as we learn so much and about the land and Deer Mountain and this beautiful space that we're stewarding there. Learning a lot about the seeds that are also laying dormant. Dormant is even the wrong word, I think. They're laying in their wisdom, in their.
Hi.
Oh, he's back.
Yeah.
There he is. Good.
All right. Wow, yeah. So Tlacaele is playing games on us, you know.
Yeah, I told the story about Klakaeli and tobacco seeds and how he was here today with me. So
Hi. So with him was he finished his 40 some years of Sundance in Mexico, and so he told the people, he says, um, "Do not stop the ceremonies. Always continue, no matter if it's one of you left, but do not stop. You know." And I'll be back. He says, "I'm gonna go rest for a little bit. I'll see you on the other side." So he went to lay down, and later they found him. He went to the stars like that, you know, and so the people continued to do the ceremonies, and then at that altar here, dear Mount, one of the other kids that were still alive from us, we were 12 kids when we traveled with him in 78 and 79. And Cristino, he came back, he came up and he brought Tlacaele's pipe. He says his instructions was for us to pray and receive the gifts that he done all his life, the inheritance. Sometimes the bundles are given like this, like the seed, through one action or a series of actions. So there we were. I'm looking at his bundle, and because we've done ceremonies, we know slowly, carefully, beautifully, prayerfully opened his pipe. That who knows if not anybody else had ever opened it before. So I opened it and we smoked with the pipe. Actually, they didn't want to smoke. They just said, "You only the one smoke." So I smoked that prayer and remembering all the beauty we shared, you know. And so the same thing has happened to others when Bobby Lake Grizzly Medicine Bear came for say goodbye here. We were having a gather and we walked to this mother tree where you see the pictures of the elders gathering there. And he says, "You smoke his tobacco, you know, pray, you know, touch her." "Oh, you found her," he tells me. And the same thing, he says, you know, everything can take years to give in, but only might take one action of this day, touch the tree together. And we both touched it together while he smoked his pipe, you know. And there was Raquel right behind us and Tosecana behind us, you know, to witness what happens when that beauty of years and years, a lifelong of love is shared and gifted each other for that moment, you know. And I heard stories to my other brother, Tigre Perez in Arizona. He did a lot of lodges and everything. It was him and me that Tlacael and some of the Pima elders in 78 asked us to run a lodge for them. They never been in the sweat lodge. Some of them were 80, 90 years old. And we were like, I don't know what I'm doing. You know what you don't know, but you know, all right, we'll figure it out. So we ran that first lodge for them. And later I heard that he's in his journey praying in the lodge with his relatives, and he same thing. He says, you know, don't ever stop the ceremonies. Keep it going. Keep the prayer going because we never know what's gonna be gifted back, you know. But I'm gonna sit outside for a little while and I'm going to rest, you know. But you guys always keep it going, don't stop. So he went outside, they felt his body lean against the lodge, you know, and then he also left for the stars. And you know what a way to then and keep those kivas, you know, the open kivas all over the world that he left behind. And so here now, you know, we have other my brothers and sisters, and we've done a lot of beautiful sharings, you know, and it's our time, you know, that it's getting closer to look for those who's gonna carry the bundles, the pipes, you know, the feathers, the memories of all this. And sometimes it's just like that. It would come from the spirit way, you know. So the Juncaniles, we want to plant the seeds today to say thank you to life. Thank you to this world for it's been so patient, so beauty, you know. So when we go to the talking like that, we said, Matyosha we ni malecha chau. Matyosh ni malech rukush kach, rukush yulef, rukush kak, rukush kakie, rukush ya, rukush kastemal, Rokushko kotzihal, rokushka kastemal, matyo shishawe ni malech katit kamama. May the essence in the heart of heaven, the heart of the earth, the essence and the spirit of the fire, of the sacred waters, of the breath and the air that we breathe, of the sacred Mother Earth, the flower of life, the spirit of life. May we go into the Rukush, we said, the essence, the heart of all things, and be in the stillness, be in the Hungwinak, we said, in the zero, when there's no more to say, no more to do, no more to be, just the essence is free. And may we can reach that, for our children and for all the beautiful things we're doing. So today in Nahum Kanil, may we plant the seeds, gather the people, you know, pray up like that. They said, raise up those lodges. And so we're heading towards nice ceremonies coming up to celebrate this life. And I'm always requesting now support, guidance for the people because we don't really know. I don't know, and maybe we're doing something but it's not what nature is needing anymore. So sometimes we're doing all kinds of things, and maybe now the earth is saying just stay still, stillness. Work with your seeds, work with your medicines, find out where your water is, find out who lives there, make relatives with the bear, with the cougar, the eagle. Yesterday, we were like 10 feet from a golden eagle twice, right there. And the kids go, oh my God, look, the big eagle right next to us. Today, trying to catch a rattlesnake because it's right by where the kids are playing, and we'll move it somewhere else. But relationships, it looks very healthy. It looks exciting, to say, hey, we're going to make a pond for the fish and for the birds and the animals to work with the forest, work with the land, learn about what is there here to eat. So we found a whole bunch of it, 3,500 species of plants here in Deer Mountain, some camas, some wild onions, some nettles, all kinds of medicine, mullein, and it's like, wow, what a treasure. And may all of us go everywhere you go, find out who lives here. How do I exchange and I ask permission to harvest the medicine, the angelica or the kokosh or the acorns or whatever, but the efforts made will not go unnoticed, they say. So today, as we went through Oslahu Kech, now we carry the seeds because 8 days from now, a vision is given to us. Clarity. It has to be a process for the seed in Kanil. Tomorrow, summer solstice, we give a toch. Toch is a gift. Toch is a ceremony. Toch is an offering for life, for the earth, for all of us. Then for who? Let's say for our people, our families, for the bear people, the little people, the ant people, all the peoples. Let's say it makes all the families come together. But how are we gonna weave it together so that each of our actions is a beautiful weaving that we're gonna enjoy, like this embroidery, the weavings of our people, made to last. May our visions, our actions, our ceremonies create a beautiful tapestry that will make it last past when we are gone. And then, it will show us the right way, the path that we take. And so the Kamal Bays are showing us the way. They're gathering up and they're traveling all over, telling the humanity, hey, remember our covenants to life. Remember our agreements to this world. Remember those original instructions. And then, carry the staffs, carry our bundles, and put it together again because the next is Ish, what is sacred. So we're going to go a lot of medicines coming up. We want to learn, relearn, be shown because the rules are changing really fast in the world and our relationship to it. And then Wakshakitsikim, what is our vision? All these efforts, what is the wealth and the beauty there that we're going to carry with us? And so those bundles are prepared for our children. A lot of you have grandchildren like us, and what is it that they're going to hold, when nothing is really clear, so confusing. Oh, you know what's happening. So, but it's also happening that there's Pashil Kayala, our people said, the places where the nations will be gathering: Eagle Nation, Serpent Nation, the Fish Nation, the little creepy crawlers nations. All the nations are gathering up, and we could see them. Frogs are healthy, they sing all night. Eagles are flying. The bears are happy, they've got a lot of food. The cougars are going around, the deers are coming back, and so forth. So, and that's when, it's like they said now, uh, strengthen their rukush, strengthen their heart, their hearts, strengthen your people, your family. Maybe it will be little families, little nucleuses, because the most of it don't they're not aware. They're getting caught up in all the other things. So they said a lot of our humans are turning down into the 2D, 2 dimensional world, fear and chaos and destruction, and and the 3D world is wobbly too. Not what is it that we're holding on to? Fourth dimension, fifth dimension, we start to be in our prayer. We start to celebrate. We start to be happy, more healthy. We start to enjoy it. And so we got to find where we are. Are we in fear? Are we fighting with everybody? Are we chaos here and there? Are we being engaged in the hooks of the society, and so forth? Or are we following those prayers? Are we searching for that prayer that we can crystallize, and then we will become that? So today, tomorrow, as you know, we're gonna be ceremony up in the ceremonial grounds, and Hedy and Raquel will share about the time. So maybe you also can do ceremonies and connect the web. Bots is coming up, so we gotta connect it and strengthen the weaving of our peoples. We have a lot of beautiful elders here that want to share something. So I want to leave it for now, and I want to hear. We have one of our other elders that haven't come here before, but he invited us to his clan, to his people, to his village, and was very truthful. They are in our nations. There's a lot of conflict, as you know, with each other. But I don't want to bring nothing to your camp that will bring any chaos or discomfort. But he trusted, and we prayed together, and we're making good relations. So I want to ask Rick over there to maybe introduce Don, and if he wants to share something, it would be very a great honor and a privilege. And greetings, Don. Welcome to this family here, and it's good to see you. And I look forward to spending more time with you. Oh,
Yeah, hey, it's good to hear you, Eric, and everyone. Yeah, this is my good friend Don. If you guys haven't met him before, but you got a lot of you came down last fall for Indigenous Peoples Days, and that was a wonderful time. And I told Don about this today, and I said, "Hey, come on over to the office. We could say hi to Eric and hear some prayers." And so, yeah, but this is Don here. He's the tribal chairman of the Sayakami Maidu tribe here in Nevada City, and I guess the range would be from Matabo up towards Shasta, right, with your people.
Yeah. So, Scotty Nicky Hescom, that is, how are you, my friends? It's good to see you, Eric. I've been thinking a lot about you and your land up there, and I was telling Rick we need to take a trip up there. And I got a big saw. So maybe I heard you had some dead trees standing. And I thought maybe me and Rick could take a ride up there and put in a day's work for you. Get some of them down. They're fire danger, So what do you think of that, Eric?
Yes, good to hear you, Don, and good to see you. And yes, it'll be what a privilege and a great honor that you were also considering to come up. Yes, we're focusing on the land because in the last 3, 4 months we've seen over 1,000 trees more dead.
Oh,
Oh, just so many. It's like and I know the fires are coming. And so we're going to start the roads for the fire
yeah,
relationship next month, July 5th, 10th or something. But we need to, harvest some of the trees, clean up around. We found about maybe 50 black oaks that are the ones that are left on the land.
yeah,
We want to cut around it to preserve them because
yeah.
there's not that many left, but so yes, I'm here. I just got back from Guatemala 2 nights ago, and I'm ready, man. I'm ready.
You're a busy guy. Our people used to every year. I think they still do it. They walk from Mount Lassen to Mount Shasta. Pit River people.
Yeah,
Do they still do that? I don't know.
I haven't been with that lately. No, I don't know.
No.
But that's
Anyway.
what we're hoping for to do. As we build this relationship with you in the Maidu and the Shasta, to come back home here too. And create the ceremonial grounds.
Yeah, you live in a powerful place up there. I don't get a chance to get up there very often. When I go through Mount Shasta, it's about 80, 90 miles an hour headed towards who knows where.
Yeah. Well, now you can stop by.
Yeah. So we're gonna plan on getting up there, but both of us are so busy,
Yeah.
we just have to, if you're gonna do anything, you just gotta drop everything and go.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I was listening to your teachings, and I'm still trying to get it all sunk in, It's I can tell you've been around for doing what you do, the good work that you do, and we're grateful to have somebody like you talking to listen to. We all need that, and especially I do. I'm still learning,
Yeah.
So it's good to see you. And that's all I'm going to say. Okay, I say, hey, when I, hey, when I means it's kind of like amen.
Hey, when now.
Yeah, but when you get older like me, I'm tired of talking.
Thank you, Don. Thank you.
Good to see you.
Good to see you, and Rick too. Thank you, buddy.
Yeah, we'll come visit soon. We will.
Yeah.
We'll be in touch, but I know there's other people. Go ahead.
Okay, Raquel, you can have it back. Thank you, guys.
Have it back. Well, I'll say that it's just it's so awesome. Rick and I have been having some conversations lately, and I just want to celebrate the good work that you do. And all of us that are doing work with the youth and also doing the work of healing our own inner youth. So I just want to celebrate that because that's part of what our conversations and even seeing your face on this call brings up for me. So thank you. And, may we all actually come together around that too and have some gatherings in the future for the youth at Deer Mountain and support the gatherings that happen everywhere. And we do have some other folks on the call. I'm wondering if I can pass this talking stick over. I see Don Patricio, you're here, and March Forest is here, and Yellow Robe is here, and I just wanted to offer it up. Does anybody feel like they're in a good place to share? All right, Patricio, you gonna?
Hey, okay.
Good to see you.
The unmute button. Getting a little slow. The last 3-4 days I've been staying up really, really late because we were doing our Solstice festival yesterday, and we were really, really scrambling the last 3 days to put it together. We had, like, I don't know, 150 people or more show up for that thing, but we were prepared. We knew that a lot of people would show up. It's one of the nice things about living next to a city, in that whenever you advertise something like this, you really can have a good draw, and without a whole lot of preparation on the part of the participants. They just get in their cars and just head on over, and in 10-15 minutes they're at your land, and you've got a whole lot of people that you've got to attend to. So yeah, we had a lot of food to prepare. We had the space to prepare. So all of that, and we were just working really, really late into the evening for the last 3 evenings. But glad to report that actually our event went off very, very well. So tells me that somebody here is doing a fairly decent job of bringing the community together. And so apparently the idea of spirituality as a reason to get together still flies, because when we were putting this together, everybody said, well, you ought to be making more like a festival. And well, even though we did call it a festival, but our emphasis was spirituality. We made sure we had the 4 direction altars, and anybody who was going to talk or make music had to have a spiritual bent to their presentations and all of that. And so we made sure that the theme was never really entertainment. It was always about consciousness. And we had something like, I don't know, 12 or more actual body workers on site. Then we had another dozen or so people selling, kind of spiritual stuff, crystals, and all the usual suspects. And so there was it was quite the event. But I am absolutely just tired to smithereens. But when I found out that you guys were having this talk, well, I reminded. Thank you, Victoria. I know you probably are not on the call right now. I saw your little notice that said, I can't get on. But you know what? It was that little notice that said, I can't get on, that reminded me that this thing was happening. I said, oh, shoot, she can't get on, but that means I should get on. So I scrambled to sign in real quickly and get onto this call. So thank you, Victoria. Your job probably wasn't to be on or to talk, but to get Don Patricio on the line, and so he could tell everybody, you know what, community is still the number one thing. And in my world, actually, right now, it is the number one thing. I spent many years trying to develop international relationships between the peoples, between the tribes, and all of that, with not a whole lot of success. But the last few years, I've put my attention on organizing my own community, and I'm seeing great success. I mean, I had a parking lot with maybe 60, 70 cars in it. I had 150 people milling about and listening to good conscious music. I had people show up for presentations on plant medicines. I even did a little presentation on One People Tribal Nation. It's a really wonderful thing to actually see things come together after a whole lot of work. So, my feeling is, if I can get my community together, then I know that at least one little corner of the world we're going to be okay, and it's going to be all right. So that is my focus, and that is the focus I'm passing on to my students. I'm like, okay, you know what? there are some of you that are going to dedicate, your attention on trying to save the world. But most of you put your attention on saving your community. Save this little corner of, and that'll be enough. If we can save 200 people in Albuquerque, by golly, we've done something. And maybe after the whole thing comes crashing down, somebody say, hey, you know what? There's a little group of people over there in Albuquerque, and then they still get together and they sweat lodges and they do prayer ceremonies, and they still do dances and all of that. So, and that's what we're doing now. We've got a beautiful dance arena surrounded by 4 beautiful altars. I've got an air altar with little spinning wheels and chimes, and I've got a fire altar with big fires and a waterfall for our water altar, and then I have a stage that's my earth altar, but it doesn't have any earthy stuff yet. But behind the stage, I'm going to put all these plants. Yeah, I'm scrambling to put this thing together, and it's a lot of work. But anyway, behind the altar is going to be all this foliage and greenery and yada yada yada. It's going to look like somebody when they're up on stage, like they're in a forest or a jungle, and that's the earth altar. And so that's going to be the community center for our community, and that's the focus now. That is the really thing. But it frightened me just a moment ago. Eric was talking about the transition from Canil to To, and I was like, oh no. I always do, I'm so busy working on this gathering that I totally forgot that I do sweat lodges every solstice and equinoxes. So that means I'm going to have to freaking go into the sweat lodge tonight, like at 3 a.m, which is just like what, 6 hours from now. So I'm going to have to take a quick nap, fire up the sweat lodge, and go in there, and probably nobody. Well, I'll call a couple of the people from the community and say, hey, any of you are interested in joining me in Sweat Lodge at 3 a.m? It's like, come on down, try to be here by 2:45. And they're going to say, Patricio, you know what? We like you a lot, but but we got to work tomorrow, and we just busted our butt trying to get this festival going. I mean, it went from like 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. We are wasted. Have a good sweat, so it'll just be me. But the prayers must go on, and tradition must go, because I'm really hardcore about that. If you're going to celebrate the solstice, by God, celebrate it right on time. Oh, and I have a question about that, Eric, and I know you're the guy that could answer this question. The energy at 3 a.m, is it still Canil, or has it already switched over to To?
The bundles are exchanged at midnight at Guatemalan time. That's the time of the astronomical observation.
Oh, you're killing me. Now I'm going to have to try to figure out at midnight. Guatemala is how, let's see, Guatemala is like Central Time?
Yeah, Central.
Okay. So Guatemala is Central Time. So I'll be doing my ceremony in To.
Yep.
Okay. Well, that's pretty good. So I'll prepare accordingly. So anyway, any of you still awake? Like at let's see, that would be Central Time, 3 o'clock. That would be 4. Any of you awake at 4 a.m? Kind of jump in and join me in spirit, and we'll have a really good time there. But if you can't handle that, join Eric tomorrow morning when he does his ceremony. Or you can do us both, and then you can be totally burned out like me, and maybe by Thursday or so you can finally get some sleep. But it's almost like the bad old days when we used to stay up for 3 or 4 days in a row trying to get things ready for a ceremony, and finally get the ceremony and crash like the day after the ceremony, after we've been awake for like 3 or 4 days. But oh well, the prayers must go on. If you're going to inspire your students or others to follow, you have to really show some determination and stamina so that they, they can say, well, you know what, if my teacher can do this and he's a freaking old geezer, heck, I can too. So that's what's going to go down. And I think I've weirded you out enough. I'll pass to the sane members of the elder group.
Thank you, Patricio. And I wanted to pass it over to Marcia Forrest if you're able to jump on now.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm feeling pretty sane today, Patricio, so I guess I'll step right in. So, yeah, happy summer solstice, and thank you, Tata, for your beautiful words. And it's so nice to see everybody here on this call today. And boy, I don't know about where you live, but summer has come late. Spring has just stayed on and on and on and on. And there's some people who are still transplanting some of their seedlings. So it almost saddens me that I know the days are starting to get shorter, after tomorrow, but everything's lush and green, and I'm sure they'll catch up to where they need to be for all the efforts that people put into their gardens and grow food for themselves. And it's so beautiful to see. And where I'm living right now in Nanaimo, in the backyard, there are 2 fig trees that are over 40 years old. And one of them, the fruit is really big already. They just need to change color. So I'm gonna be preserving some figs somehow. That's for sure, because that's gonna be quite a blessing. Fig is just one of those fruits that you don't often get to have fresh, and when you do, you go, wow. So adjusting well. It's been almost 6 months now that my husband and I moved to British Columbia. We moved back to Canada, and I just want to let everybody know we were able to buy a house, and we get the keys on the 7th. It'll be exactly 6 months from the time we arrived. So we'll be able to settle into something that'll be ours. So we're excited about that. But it's been quite a transition. And so it's been good to be able to maintain some of the circles that I'm involved in still. The group down in Southern Illinois, the women that I've been working with all these years that I lived there, they're still carrying on with the ceremonies. So I'm really happy about that. And we actually get together on a Zoom call once a month just to stay connected and to help continuing to support each other and, continue to teach each other things too. So it's like, Patricio said, even if you keep it small, it's something that's going to keep things going, and everybody just always feels so supported and uplifted after those calls. And we may sing, we may do whatever it is that needs to be done that time. We spend that time together. And then there's a couple of other circles that I'm involved in that way too, as an elder, just providing support for some of the circles that are back east. And so getting settled in a new place, I'm excited about then being able to really get my roots into establishing some ceremonial places. I've been using my pipe. That's been my fire mostly since I've been here, in my komal. And so, and there's several people who used to live up in Haida who are down this way too. And so we're hoping we'll be able to get together collectively and hold some nice fires once we find a space where we can do that together too. So that'll be really beautiful to be back in the presence of grandfather fire and just really be able to solidify presence there, be able to solidify intentions and prayers. And I'm really finding that people are tending to struggle right now with essentially what is most important for them to do right now, because there are so many distractions out there. I mean, there's so many things that get kind of like dragged off the track with, you know, if you let yourself. And so I'm really just seeing the importance of helping support people to help take care of themselves so that they stay healthy, so that they can, you know, be that best presence for themselves, and then also be that support for others when that is needed. So that's, I just like to really encourage that. And for some people, they find they're not sleeping well, and so again, just like learning some of those pretty basic self-care techniques and make it a habit, so that it's something that gets ingrained and it's something you'll be able to carry forward day to day. And whatever that space or time it is that you find for your own reflection and your own prayer and your own inner work, that's also vitally important. And so for me, I tend to try to do those things early in the morning, because once the day gets rolling, that, you know, it's like everything starts flowing in. And so that usually works best for me. I'd like to share a song with you before I close, and it's a Mohawk song, and it's a song, it's Hanyo Kats, and it's all about let's continue to walk that good path together. And so sometimes, depending where you live, it's about finding your people. And like Patricia said, like finding your people so that you can establish that as a community that's going to be there and be supportive. So I send this song out to all of you, so you can carry that with you for the walk you're taking with others too. So Anyo ka swatahita Neo ha yo Yohoea Yohoea Yohoe Hani Yohoe Gai Nao Yahea Hanyo ka swatahita Neo ha yo Yohoea Yohoea Yohoe Hani Yohoe Gai Nao Yahea Yohoea Yohoea Yohoe Hani Yohoe Yohoea Yohoea Yohoe Hani Yohoe Gai Nao Yahea Hanyo ka swatahita Neo ha yo Yohoea Yohoea Yohoe Hani Yohoe Gai Nao Yahea Yohoea Yohoea Yohoe Hani Yohoe Yohoea Yohoea Yohoe Hani Yohoe Gai Nao Yahea Yoho. So Yahweh, for listening to my words, and blessings with this song for you to carry forward as you continue to walk your pathway, wherever it is you're living and wherever it is you're doing your work, and just yeah, be outside, be out there with the elements and surrender to them, because that's really where a lot of the blessings and teachings come from, a lot of those original teachings. So have a beautiful summer, and I'm so glad to see all of you on this call tonight. And thanks again, Raquel, Tata.
Yahweh, Matiosh, Hawa, just thank you. So good. So good to receive the medicine of that song. And I was really feeling called to share with all of you and just hold this intention right now. Patricio, your words of, if you're going to celebrate the solstice, do it on time. We're here, we're gathered, and there's this amazing space, this opportunity right now to set this prayer together. And I'm just going to ask us all to hold this prayer of intention for Deer Mountain. There's a little bit of sharing about the tending of the land and the caring for it, but we're in this preparation. Relatives have been traveling back and forth, and a lot of us are working together with all that we can and doing what we can to manifest more. So we'll be sharing about this, but really bringing love in action as Indigenous land management and the controlled burn fire ecology at Deer Mountain, and like the ceremony of tending the relationship with the fire, with the land. And I don't want to use the word overwhelming, but it's so much bigger than what I can imagine. And I know that it's something that will be done with incredible leadership. So I'm gonna bless and ask for protection for my brother Jared and everybody who may be helping, and all of the fire keepers in all places, those keeping those spiritual fires. Thank you. Thank you for keeping your relationship to the fire in your heart, and the fires in our pipes and our kumals, and the fires that we light as candles, and that fire of inspiration, and the more that we work with it, the more that we have this relationship to it. And so much of the preparations for this burn that will be happening at Deer Mountain, they're very, yes, it's logistics, but it's in that time of logistics. These beautiful grinding stones were given, I don't want to say given back, but we were given a relationship back to them. We were given that gift of connection. And I always say when we gather at Deer Mountain, like, oh, thank you for coming. And I thank myself for every time I can get there, because there's such immediate reciprocity and speaking. So my heart swells, and my water is just like want to pour, because it's so beautiful. And there's some places where we get to really be human beings. And I just pray for our unity in holding these intentions for really safe and incredibly generative, that these actions be able to ripple and teach, and that it's the right kind of fire that spreads, not the ones that consume us and take because we're not working together and we're not figuring it out, but the fires of inspiration, the fires of right action and order. And I just wanted to share that. Sometimes we're so busy with what we're doing, we don't tell the story back, and really committed in holding this prayer of being all that I can be, to be that carrier of these messages, so that as the fires and the tending starts at Deer Mountain soon, and may last for up to 3 months. We're not sure yet, but it will at least be 1 month for sure, a couple months, that we're all just holding that prayer for safe passage and for empowerment and for just the rising up of all the ways that we can work together to make a difference. We can work together to bring our love in action. So wanted to share that and make that request that all of you just hold that intention with us. And as we start to share more about it in these ways that we're connected through the web, to pass it on to your relatives and track with us all the good progress, and pray with us for the safety of the land and animals and just everything that life is, that we have an opportunity to stand for. So I'm really feeling this solstice and wanted to offer this heart of, you know, what I feel is like, I just feel like I'm feeling the earth a lot. And whether my words were perfect or not, I just wanted to be a voice for those animals and those plants and rocks. And just say, I love you and thank you for your prayers. And request more, keep them going. And I wanted to pass this stocking stick over to you, Yellow Robins and Kala, and say thank you, relatives, each one of you. And thank you too for all of the beauty and all the sharing and whatever you may share into this space now. No.
Oh, Matakuyas, and thank you. And so good to see all you, just beautiful people. And to hear about the earth and all that's happening. And a week ago or so, I was down in your area down there on the north side of the big hill there at Pilot Rock. And if you guys have been to Deer Mountain, if you look to the north, you'll see this big mountain rock that sits there. And at the base of that rock, there's been a Sundance there for years and years and years. And this last couple of years because of COVID, and this year because of the fires, it's been canceled the last 3 years. And so I did a pilgrimage up there and did my own little fire. And it just, you know, you could see like the lodge had been kind of dilapidated. It was sort of leaning, and at the top of the lodge, usually we call Hochika, or it's the four directions is tied up there. And that was kind of like flopping down. But most of the arbor looked pretty good. But all the grasses were so tall and they were still green. And that was the beautiful part. Everything was so green and so alive. And it just felt, wow, we found this place. We were shocked that we found this place because, you know, it's way up in the mountains. And but it's a place I had been to many times in ceremony. And so at the completion of my little ceremony, it was just me and a friend. You know, I just felt like, well, you know, I want to offer some cedar to the circle. And so I went over to the west gate and just prayed and offered some cedar to the west gate. And as I started walking around the circle, I was just spreading cedar as I walked and would pray at each gate. But as I walked around that circle, I just heard the words in my mind. I just heard, keep the circle strong. And, you know, up until then, I was like even thinking about, God, do I even want to be involved with this stuff? It's so hard, you know, so hard to like the sun dances and just putting yourself out and the work and all that's involved. And it's kind of like, what do I really want? And as I started walking around, I just heard those words, keep the circle strong. And so I came back and have been thinking about that ever since, you know. And now the next question is, how do I keep the circle strong? Because, you know, Spirit doesn't give you everything in one shot. You know, you kind of wish the clouds would part and that you get that bolt of lightning and it would say, go do the Sundance, or go, you know, go pray with Eric and, you know, bring lots of tamales or something. You know, the Spirit will just give you these little doses, and they're blessings, you know. But then the next question comes up, and it's kind of like, well, how, you know, what? And so, you know, thinking of the solstice, I've been really wanting to go do for years and years. We had our Vision Quest up on Green Ridge, which is just above the Metolius River area. So it's up pretty high in Central Oregon. And I don't know how many times we've been up there for a ceremony. And they've had, over the last few years, they've had fires just really go through that area. And it doesn't look like what it used to. But it's still really, really beautiful. And so tomorrow we're going to drive up there, and I'm going to do a little fire. And we talked to Sweet Medicine, and she's going to join us. And so we're going to be up there at 7,000 feet, building our little fire and putting some prayers out there. And just, you know, I just feel so grateful for just the light. You know, whether the days are longer or shorter, I don't know. You know, it's just like, I'm just glad, you know, and really, it's just a pleasure to be here and just to take that step forward and see what happens, you know, and for each of us really to ask ourselves, you know, how can I keep that circle strong, that circle inside? You know, it's really, to me, it's, you know, it's part of my mission, you know, is to ask those questions and to look and to open up. And, you know, the beautiful part is just sitting here. We had a deer just come up within 20 feet of us outside, eating cherries on the ground. And so there's so much beauty, and I'm so grateful. So thank you all. And it's really, it's a wonderful life. Oh. Did you want to say anything?
Matapiasan, I'd just like to say it's really wonderful just to be on this precipice, this gateway into the solstice season and the time of growing things, and just to be with our spirit family, our tribe, and acknowledge the beauty all around, but inside of us, and have it reflected by all of you. We had a sweat lodge here on Saturday, and Sweet Medicine poured water, and it's always so profound, even after 30 years, you know, just going into the darkness and being there, and just being there with your prayer and singing together, praying together, drumming, and just the simple things, and seeing how much it, well, of course, touches me every time. And the people that come that have never experienced that before, it's so profound to see how one's heart can open up. So thank you all for being here, and Matapiasan.
Oh.
Lata, can I pass the talking stick back over to you and just say thank you to everyone for the presence tonight, and there's so much love and blessings in all directions. May you be well. May we weave again soon.
Yeah. Thank you, Raquel. And thank you to each and one of you for coming around and making this circle strong. You know, talk about making what do we have to do to make the nice circle. And we have a rule number one. And some of you, you know, I have 1,000 rule number ones, but this rule number one is be present. Just show up, you know, and be yourself, be ourselves. I know sometimes it's hard, you know, especially for us, for me, but we show up and just be part of that circle. Just like in this, I want to remind of this because it's an icon now of the Maya we used up a lot of icons, like stop signs or go left, go right. We have thousands of glyphs. Our language was very well spoken and well written in icons and phonetics and hieroglyphics, that one symbol makes out many things. And so uh, as we get closer to the crystallizing what do we want as our vision for people, for us, for our relations of the world, and they tell us we train. It's like every day we train, we do something, to hold to for us, it's the sacred. It's like boxers. You box, you stay healthy, and pretty soon the endorphins, the body wants more and they want to run more. And it gets into a way of life. Then you feel good, you feel healthy, others do other things. But that's one of the recommendations is being shared is train as when you get the call at 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning, everything's ready to go. You are the spiritual emergency responder. Families having a hard time, you know, kids are overdosing, people are hurting each other, people are hungry, and we have to be prepared to witness, to feel, to hear, to what they say, hold space without thinking that we're going to fix anything. We're not fixing anything, but we train to be those responders, to be that kind holding space, to be the holder of our pain or suffering, to witness and to have the words, the proper words to send somebody to the spirit world. They're afraid. They're looking at you like, oh my, it's okay. We're gonna go through all of that, all of us. And how are we gonna handle it? We don't know. We think we know, but at that moment, it's like, oh man, this is it. you know. And can somebody be there that you love, that you trust, that you feel complete, and that makes this life a beautiful experience. So we train for that. Go see what our world is crying about. What is she screaming? The Mother Earth is telling us the trees are dying. All this stuff is happening. What is she telling us? Some are flooding, some are drying. Everything she's very clear instructions. But we have to close the gap. Go at the edge of the caves and go down. Listen to her breathing. All the caves, they breathe. Thus, we'll go there and learn to breathe. Smoke your pipe right there. Let the smoke go down into her wound. Let her come back to you and feel that cool breeze coming up because outside is hot maybe. Go down to the waterfalls and listen to what she's saying, that force, that prayer, or that gentle songs. In my life, I've noticed it has made a difference of how we go through every day and how we can become those first responders. We have to train. If you have the time and the ability and the love, create actions of love. Go pick up trash along the creek, on the lake, along the ocean. Plant trees. Well, that's not my land. No, it's okay. It's for your Mother Earth. Who knows? Maybe your great grandchild will harvest from that tree. It wasn't your land, but you planted the seeds, and it won't just be fruits and vegetables. There'll be Your prayer will be documented in the holograph of this Mother Earth, the records, halls of records. And then somebody go there, maybe they didn't get no instructions. Maybe they never met an elder. Maybe they're lonely and hurting and they're lost, but they come to that place where you prayed, your true conversations with God. They will hear it. Something will be like, it just changed my life. I was standing here and now I understand. I have a song. Now I have instructions. Now I can do something for my relatives. And they'll go back, make things in order. We have an opportunity right now. We still have it. Other parts of the world is no longer They don't have a possibility. They live in the streets. They live by the railroad tracks. They're hunting each other. You know what's happening. They have no choices anymore. That is gone. Others are at war. Others are hungry, etc., etc. Or they find themselves imprisoned by the drugs or their addictions, so forth. And it's no longer can we depend on that. And we have little boats. We only have little boats. We cannot take the masses anymore because we didn't listen. We didn't prepare. So that's gonna be hard for some of us to know that, oh my, I can't go back and help those people because I will sink also. Nothing will be saved. Nothing will make it through. And so we have to make a decision. Do we go back and we know that we might not get out? Maybe that's a choice for some of us. Others will have to hold Pashil Kayala, the sanctuaries. For those who crawl, fall, creep up in the underworld, or fall off from the sky, or somehow bump into you, then we must be prepared for them, especially if they're children. And we got to have the physical things as well, not just the spiritual. How do we feed them? How do we heal their wounds? How do we teach them? How do we guide them back so that their minds are not in the chaos of what they had just witnessed? Some of us, we grew up at war and we grew up in very hard things, sometimes, hungry, but we made it through, and then we can share it that is so possible. From a day to day, tomorrow, it would all change that quick. And some of them are finding themselves like that. That will never happen to us. Well, now it's 20 million refugees now coming out. Oh, now there's another 15 million refugees. Oh, etc., etc. Everything is gone. But if we focus, we got time to make things in order. Our minds has to be strong. If you ever see a wound, somebody wounded or somebody crying for help, and somebody in the medicines that not you can't say nothing physically to bring them back to coherence. They're just off and they're spinning and they're fighting, and there's nothing you can do and say sometimes. But there's something that you might guide them. But we got to train for that. It won't happen automatic because those are skills that in the time of emergency, so that you don't become a victim yourself or a wounded one, we have to be alert. We have to be prepared. We have to have our ceremonial bag. Mine is ready to go. And I have packs for medicine too. I'm not an emergency medical technician, but we could sew up, we can stop bleeding, we can fix our leg, whatever, and then we can pray for those, whatever's happening. Same for the animals, creating the Pashil Kayala so that they have little houses for the bats, food for the butterflies, food for the bees. And that's our responsibility. It was given to us at the beginning of time with the original instructions. Bear says, I'll help him. Deer, I'll help him too. Coyote, I will help him as well. The salmon, I'll sure help those people. But don't forget, there was an exchange. Like the stories of the Maya, we asked for help for everybody. Asked help for the fire. Oh, sacred fire, help me out. Now we use it for war, to destroy, to kill. Then, oh, sacred water, I need you. So water says, yes, I will give you. Now look at most of our lakes, rivers, oceans, everything's polluted. And that's our responsibility. We must make it order again. Our voices must be fierce. They must pierce through all the illusions that everything's okay. It's not okay. And yes, we could do so much still. There's still plenty of time, but we cannot just sit around. So joining up, supporting each other. Someday we'll be, oh man, I wish I could. We don't want to hear that. That's like the last thing we want to hear is, oh, I should have done. It's like, no, the time is gone. Now is the time to make your pipe. Find what is the relationship to your sacred fire. Carry fireplace. Carry medicine. Carry a song. Carry hope in your life. Become the beacons. That's why our people say Kamal base. We carry beacons, not that we're perfect. We're like we've gone through so much stuff. But our Maya, our people said, oh, there's an Akir. There's somebody that has come through the dark experiences and a lot of, and now look, they're respectful, they're loving, they're kind, they don't have much, but they extend themselves in actions of love into the rukush because it is eternal. That will be our eternal food, not the physical nice cars and all that. None of that we take, they say. But we take is those actions of love in which we share hope, we share medicine, we share holding the space. For when I was wounded, man, so many elders held me up. They had faith, they trusted me. And they said, even though, said they challenged me, but they said, no, you can do it, but don't lose hope. Don't give up, but you must surrender to spirit, they told us. How does that go? Yeah, don't give up. So right now in the summer solstice, we're going ceremony. Toch, we want to ask permission to work with our larger fires. These are huge fires because the earth is not in harmony. It's out of balance. 100 years of National Forest Service management and BLM management and companies and all kinds, they messed it up. They just messed it up. And so many species have paid the price for that. So as we learn, make actions of love, heal the earth, help her out, harvest those trees, they're dead. Maybe we can use them for lodges and homes and firewood and wood for the peyote ceremonies and the sweat lodges and so forth. Use up those bodies properly until the big fires come. Well, then, as you wish, my love, we said to the Creator. As you wish, my love. But we're making the call. If you need, call us up too. If we can, we'll show up. If not, show up here. Or we know that over there in different clans, the people are making efforts. The communities are strengthening. And so may you also do that. Light the fires. Share the pipe. Share what's happening in your neck of the woods. Sing and dance. Celebrate. And just sit and watch each other. How beautiful it is to see you. How beautiful it is to be seen and to be respected and to be like, oh, hey, you got a good song. Go ahead. Well, it's the same one you heard last time. It's okay. It's a beautiful song. I only have one, but that's a spirit song. We know some of the top 40, but the one song, that's what opens the doors because we trained for it. Spirits came and showed us, and they took us into the songs. They took us into the spirit place, and we got to witness what that song does or what that ceremony does. Or so, encouragement to light your fires, learn about the lodge, build your lodges. There's never a little ceremony. There always is a ceremony. There's never a big, giant, fancy ceremony. It's a ceremony. It's a gift to life. It's just a prayer of your pipe. Wow, and so that's kind of wanted to share. And we made this in Guatemala, Sutuji land, so that we're gonna share them, and just to remind us that we have a beauty of we belong to that circle of life, and we belong in our individuality, but we belong as collective species, as one nation, as one being. So may this summer solstice, we coming up, tomorrow, toch, we go pray and light those fires, and we do what we do, right? And we connect with the web, so that you feel it, you sense it. We know we're not alone, we're not isolated, but we want to strengthen it. Whatever we can do, we are here. We've been here. We're going to continue trying to be there as long as Creator give us a way to walk, travel over there, whatever, pray. That's what we do. So I love you and thank you. And it's a privilege to see you and be with you. It's a joyous day. And I send my love for you and all your families, and everything you do may turn into the honey, golden light, really nice and sweet. So, Matyosha way.
Matyosh, Matyosh to each one of you. And I just invite you to unmute yourself and can say good evening in your own words. Good evening to each one of you. Blessings. Happy solstice.
Buenas
so good.
noches, todo el mundo. Chao.
Thank you,
Thank
everybody.
you.
Good night.
Yes, thank you, everyone.
Yeah,
Happy
thank
solstice,
you.
everyone.
Oh, Marsha.
Thank you.
Yay.
Good night, relative.
Happy solstice. Good night.
See you at the next one. We'll have a good time then too.
Yo, yo.
Patricio. Qué bien. Chao.
Bonsoir.
Bonsoir.
Democracy man.
Oh,
See you later.
see you later.
Later. Night.
Good night. Night.
Oh, good night. Yay.
Blessings.
Be in touch.
Hey, Eddie. Yeah.
Hmm.
Good night.
Good night.